Good morning, everyone. Welcome to a surprise Level 1 podcast. It's Friday, and I had actually no intentions of doing a podcast this morning, except that a lot's been going on. It's been an eventful week, both in the realm of games, in the realm of my streams, and other things. Gaming news, actually, is one of the topics that's been interesting. And so, with all of this stuff going on, I decided I want to do a show today. I've got a lot to talk about, including number one, I just want to get everyone up to speed on me, what's been going on with the streams, both in front of and behind the camera, to get you caught up on, kind of some of the stuff that I'm going through on a daily basis here, and to hopefully explain myself for some of these times when things are going well or things are going not so well, and, I get stressed out. And I want to talk about that. I think that that's something to be transparent about with my audience, because I feel like, especially this week, there's been ups and downs. And, particularly yesterday, I thought was a day that, could have gone better. So I want to talk about that, okay? In addition, I want to give you an update because right now, my schedule is kind of in flux. There's really no major releases going on, and so we're kind of jumping on and playing various games. Already, the stuff that we were supposed to do today may not go so well. And so I want to talk about an idea that I have on the fly to kind of, move to the side, call an audible, and see if maybe next week we can make a little bit better if what I'm hearing is indeed true. In addition to that, there's another topic that I really want to talk about, game news. Because as you know, I like covering major game news here on the Level 1 podcast. But you may have noticed recently, I haven't covered much game news at all. And a lot of people ask the question, why is Phil avoiding the game news? Well, it's because what I want to talk about today is the fact that there has been an overabundance of fake news in content creation. The topics that all the gaming creators are talking about, the journalists are talking about, aren't real. And that's why I don't cover them. But then people always come to my stream and ask me the question and say, well, why aren't you talking about this or that? I'm going to give you a few concrete examples of what I'm talking about here today, and the reason why I don't address this stuff. I don't like wasting your time. So we have a lot of topics to talk about today, right? We do. And I said, let's do a show. It's my final streaming day of the week. Why not end it with a nice interactive show? So ladies and gentlemen, sit back and relax. It is time. Let's end the week right. Let's end the week with the Level 1 podcast. Alrighty, everybody. So, here's the deal. Good morning and welcome to the show. Like I said, got a lot that I want to talk about today. So I wanted to do a show impromptu, and I hope that that's okay with all of you. I see that people are starting to join right now because a lot of people were not expecting me to do a podcast today, and they're like, oh, crap. Yeah. So here's what's going on. First of all, today is Friday, the 9th of January, 2026. It is my final streaming day of the week out of a 6-day streaming week. It's been a long and eventful one. Like I said, there's been ups, there's been downs, there's been games that have done really well, and there's been games that haven't done so well. And we've adjusted the schedule already a couple of times appropriately because of that. Well, here's the deal. Today, we're jumping into a new game called Code Violet. This game is the spiritual successor to a game called Dino Crisis, which I actually, if you don't know, played last year at exactly this time frame in the year. It was the first time I had ever played it, and I actually had really enjoyed it, playing it on my PlayStation 5. It had backwards compatibility with this game, and it was a fun playthrough. Short, but still pretty fun, okay? So over the course of this year, people had told me, hey, did you know that there's going to be another game like Dino Crisis? Supposedly, I guess some of the people involved with the original game have made this new one called Code Violet. And I was like, no, I didn't hear that. That's interesting. Would you guys be interested in hearing me play or seeing me play it? And people were like, yeah. So we kind of got excited for it over the last several months. It was actually supposed to come out in December, and then it got delayed. And so its kind of fate was uncertain. And now finally, as of today, the game came out. All right. And I'm excited. I bought it and everything. But I'm going to tell you the story because basically one of the things that's been happening around here is I've been doing quite a lot of upgrades, setups and improvements and tweaking and things like that. What you guys don't know is that doing all of that, as much as it's actually, I feel, helped the content now that we have, more ways to jump between different kinds of games, play them better capacity, etc. It's taking a lot out of me. All right. It's been stressing me out. Adding new things to my setup constantly means more time behind the scenes of trying to get them to work and tweaking with them. And then trying to implement them immediately until, say, the next stream, which can be frustrating. And that's a problem when I'm trying to maintain a work-life balance and I'm in here a ton and I'm not getting to spend enough time with my wife and, family. It's frustrating. Okay. And notably recently, there's been some things that, coming up that I knew was going to happen, like today, playing Code Violet. I'm playing it on PS5. Well, I haven't played on my PS5 in months. So I need to hook it up again. I need to get it updated. I need to get it working with my setup, and I haven't, right? Later today, one of the things that we're actually doing is Street Fighter 6. Well, I haven't played Street Fighter 6 in almost a year. I got to download it. I got to tweak it. I got to get it running better. You know what I'm saying? So all this stuff has been weighing down on me. Equipment upgrades, tweaking different things, getting different certain games like Call of Duty to play better so I could be more entertaining for you by playing better when I play it. And I'm stressed out, okay? And, all culminates when I put a lot of time or effort or work into something, and it just doesn't pan out the way that I had hoped, which is exactly what happened yesterday with the streams that I put out, which we're going to talk about, all right? So, basically, today we are checking out Code Violet, but from what I'm to understand, this game is not going to be that good. The people are saying that the game is incredibly short, like it can be beaten in around 6 hours, that the game isn't the best game, that it's kind of a wonky game and or maybe kind of just not very good quality, which sucks because, we were all hyped for it. I went and bought it and everything, and now come to find out the game's not very good. The thing is, it's so short that we might as well probably play through it and beat it if it really is only 6 hours long. That's 2 streams, maybe 3 tops. So I don't see a reason to not go through it in the next few days. But then we got to find something else because we were looking for something else to be as a daytime stream game, particularly because we're about to finish Pokemon and we're nearing the end of Clair Obscur. So because of that, we're going to need more stuff to do. And what I'd like to do is talk about some of that today because I think I have an idea and we'll talk about it and we'll, try to figure this out. But yeah, I mean, that's one of the things I was like, if I don't do a podcast, we have no time to talk about this stuff. Okay. So that's 2 major topics right there, talking about what's going on with me, my stress levels, the setup, things like that behind the scenes, stream performance, and how it's affecting everything. But also the whole schedule so that we can figure out exactly what games it is that we want to tackle in the next couple of weeks, because it's looking like we're going to have to pivot and do different games. Code Violet being one that's going to be done way sooner than we had originally expected. All right. And then there's the whole gaming news topic. This one is interesting because every day I've been seeing this stuff go down, and I'm like, I'm waiting for real game news. I'm waiting for something concrete to talk about, and all I see people talk about is this kind of almost gossipy drama nonsense. And you have to understand that I'm the kind of guy that I don't bite on that stuff, pretty much almost never. There's tons of people out there who all they do is they cover gaming news, or they're one of these talking heads on the internet where they have to talk about every hot topic. And so they'll be addressing these things that I'll never talk about. You might wonder why. We're going to talk about 3 different things that have gone down recently. Number 1, talking about the delay of the PlayStation 6 and Xbox console, okay? I also want to talk about the story about GTA 6 possibly being delayed. And I want to talk about the news story that literally just happened this morning about the pricing of the Steam machine getting leaked. All three of those, topics sound like viable gaming news topics, don't they? Like things that maybe I should be covering on this show. But you notice I haven't. I'm going to actually tell you exactly why. We're going to break it down so you understand, my mentality of how I do things around here. Why I'll talk about one topic and not another. I think that that's something that's important to cover for you guys. Okay? So that's the topics for today. And then when the podcast is done, then we'll jump into Code Violet for ourselves on PS5 and see if the game is actually any good or if it's awful. Fair enough? Okay. So cheers, everyone, and welcome to the show. I'm glad that you showed up. We got attendance coming up nicely here, and I really appreciate you guys coming out to hang out with me, despite the fact that, originally this was definitely not the plan. We were supposed to just do a quick hangout session and then jump right into Code Violet, and obviously that's not what we're doing now today, but I appreciate people, adjusting and coming by and hanging out and showing up, even when it wasn't originally planned to be like this. So thanks to everyone who is here. Who do we got? Let's do some quick hellos. Hello, Chris. How are you? Sell me a waffle. Good morning. X-Casder, how are you? Broden, what's up? Fed Roger, how are you? In fact, X-Casder just became a member. Let's get that on the leaderboard. That's our first contribution of the morning. Thank you to X-Casder 7885 for that membership to get things started today. I appreciate that very much. Very nice. Thank you so much. Who else do we got? Grandmaster Scrub is here. Copium is here. Screeby. Demolition Daddy. Codoink. King Michael. Windclaw, and more. On the kick side, who do we got today? We've got Freestyle Supporter. An Unemployed Lurker. The Real Crown Prince. You get it? Right there it says Willow's here this morning. Roreco, how are ya? Netcode's Evil Twin. And more. What's up, everybody? Good morning, good morning. All right? Thanks for being here on the fly. I know a lot of you probably would have been like, oh, well, I'm not interested in Code Violet. I won't come by today. But considering I'm doing a full podcast today, good to see you. Thanks for showing up last minute notice. What's up, Quantumint? Todd Margaret. Who else? Man, a lot of people are showing up. Game Boy, good morning. How you doing? All right, let's start just talking matter-of-factly about how stuff has been going, particularly this week and over the last month and a half. Let's get everyone caught up on everything, all right? So, for the record, 2025 was a great year for me, all right? It was. 2025 was outstanding. More often than not, I was actually hitting my support goals on my streams, okay? We were doing a variety of games. Things were going pretty good. In fact, I had already explained that 2025 was actually one of, if not my best year of content creation when it comes to the level of engagement and support I was getting for about a decade, okay? So I felt this big positivity and resurgence and everything, and then out of nowhere, I had an interview with Asmongold that just gave me a rocket on my back for about 3 weeks. Now, the thing is, it's not the first time, and likely it won't be the last, where I got a temporary boost from having an interaction with other people on the internet. The kind of content that I do usually is not very interactive. It's more me hanging out with my audience, but playing games. It's not me collabing with another creator or doing a co-op playthrough or appearing on a podcast or anything like that. It's more just sitting here and talking with you and hanging out and having a good time discussing games and playing games, right? So when I did this interview with Asmongold, it was a rare thing, and the fact that he gave me his time is a rare thing. And I got a big boost in late November and very early December for about 2 to 3 weeks, where I got way more views than usual. Like, my stream attendance was doubled. Okay, no exaggeration. 9,000 new subs to the channel within a week. Pretty insane, right? In 1 week to get that many. I never get that many. In a month, typically I'll get like 500. And all of a sudden I was getting 9,000 in a week. Support was absolutely overwhelming. Okay? It's really awesome how I got all of this cool positivity and a whole new group of people were paying attention to me and hanging out with me on my streams, okay? But much like the other times when this has happened, I knew that it was fleeting. I knew that most of those people were not going to stick around. They were there because of Asmongold. They weren't there because of me. They were interested in me and what I do and the content that I make, but they probably weren't going to stick around temporarily or permanently. It was going to be a temporary thing, and then eventually things were going to level out and kind of go back to normal. So I'm happy to say there are quite a few people from that crowd who've stuck around. There is still an increase in engagement, particularly. Like, I'll tell you guys right now, people are leaving a lot more comments on my videos. People are liking my streams and videos a lot more than they were previously. And I really appreciate that. You have to understand that even though you don't concretely maybe see it in views or whatever, that engagement helps the channel. I've got tons of people who are coming to me and saying, we're finding your channel in the algorithm. It's suggesting your videos. This is crazy. This hasn't happened in a million years. And now I'm seeing DSPGaming actually get recommendations and stuff on YouTube. And that's good. That's crazy positive, okay? And I appreciate that. But I don't think any of us are going to, try to fool ourselves and be like, oh yeah, the Asmongold bump there from the appearance was going to last, or that most of the people stuck around, that they just haven't. What's happened is in the last couple of weeks, a lot of those people who rushed to the channel because I was a guest on it with Asmongold, they left and they unsubscribed. Okay, so yeah, there's nothing you can do about that. That's just a natural thing. You get a big influx, and then it's gonna peter out eventually. I wasn't going to change all my content on the fly and suddenly become a guy just like Asmongold who daily is covering drama topics and daily news and things like that. That's not who I am. I'm a gamer. That's the core of my content. Now, a lot of you here who are relative newcomers, thank you. And it's good to see you. It's good to see your faces every day. When you come by my content and you hang out and we have a good time together, it's good to have a new crowd of fresh faces in here. But also thanks to all of the longtime viewers and fans who have also stuck around and are hanging out and having a good time on a daily basis. Again, you guys are awesome, and I'm really having a great time. I want you to understand that, okay? But what's happened in the last month is I put in a lot of time and effort into using that temporarily bump to do as much as I possibly could while I could before we kind of get back to normal business. And what that means is until we get back to the regular streams, the regular stuff, and I'm trying to improve as much as I possibly can. As you know, I bought a ridiculous amount of new hardware, multiple monitors, arms, microphone improvements, an audio interface, new keyboards, new mice, new everything, right? And it's great. Like, my setup is ever improving. I mean, every week I'm adding a few new things, I'm tweaking a few new things, and it's making the content better in the long run. It really is. But at the same time, it's been stressful. All right, it has been. It's been very stressful because I'm trying to basically juggle my regular streams with my real life while also doing all this other stuff in between. And all of it is time. Okay, I just want you to understand, like, literally all of it is time investment. Simply just looking for stuff that I need to buy or whatever, to get it in here, to get it working with the setup, to mess around with settings. Oh, well, does this work? Does that work? It's time consuming. And I'm having a lot of time right now. Like, my time crunch is a big problem where I want to get out of here so I can go spend time with my wife, and I get stuck. And then, we suffer for it. And that's not fair. That's not fair to my wife because she deserves to spend time with me. And it's not healthy. You need to have a work-life balance. You really do. You have to understand that in life, you have to have that separation. It can't just be all of one thing all the time. And that's why when people ask me, well, Phil, you're a gamer, right? So you must play games when you're off stream. I do not, because I spend so much time in this studio streaming. I don't want my life outside of the studio to be exactly the same thing. It would actually be so permeating to my life that my whole life is games that I get tired of it. So outside of this room, I don't really game. And that's a good thing. That's a good separation that I need. But what's happened is in the last month and a half since the Asmongold interview, there's been a lot of people bringing stuff up. For example, Phil, I've noticed you don't really clip your content, right? Like, you do a podcast, but you don't have excerpts or segments taken out that are uploaded to your channel. That would really benefit you, Phil, if you did that. Fair enough. We talked about this a few weeks ago, that maybe hiring an editor or something like that, right, to do that for me would probably be a big asset. The problem being, how do I trust anyone? When I have, people who have literally sought employment at an ISP, then use their job at the ISP to log into my modem shut down my streams and change the name of my wireless network to be something like Phil is a pedophile so my neighbors saw it. Okay? If they go that far, what's to make us think that I wouldn't hire an editor who would mess with me? You know what I'm saying? I'm giving them access to all of my content, my channel, and all of that. That's an insanely risky venture, and that's also a lot of trust to put into someone, right? And so, you know, I dabbled in, maybe I could do my own clips or whatever, but already, for those who don't know, I do all my own recording. I do all my own, like, stream archiving. I do all the thumbnails myself. It's all me. All right? I will say there is one or two people who behind the scenes help me with a few little things here or there, and I'm very appreciative of that. For people who make me artwork, for people who help me every once in a while with some editing problems and things like that. But for the most part, it's all me. So it's not just what you see publicly here on the stream. It's also all the work I'm putting in behind the scenes every day that's very time consuming. And the thing is, I've definitely gotten better, all right, at all of this. That's for sure. Like in the last year, I've actually gotten really good at hammering out quick thumbnails. And I know they're not the best quality, but they're still pretty good for the fact that I have no training or whatever. And I'm just whipping these out on the fly every day right after a stream ends. But I just don't have time to sit here after a stream that's already 5 hours and say, well, now I'm going to spend another hour or two clipping out the highlights, titling them, making thumbnails, putting those on the channel, or getting a second channel and putting the content over there. I feel like if I had that, the Asmongold bump would have been a lot more long-lasting. And you would have had an audience that's used to that formula from him, who would have now jumped into my content, who would have loved it. The problem is I'm a one-man show. I'm not Asmongold, who has people working for him, doing this shit for him. I'm not someone who gets 40,000 viewers on a stream where I'm rolling in dough, and it doesn't matter if I take extra time out to do that shit. I have to be here to make a living. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's me. That's my work ethic. That's how I'm successful. So, yeah, it is frustrating when I know I had opportunity in the last month and a half to maybe do things a little differently, and it definitely would have benefited long term, but I really didn't have the means. And I hope you understand that. It's not that I don't want to change and do more things. I just don't have the time. I'm a one-man show. I always have been. And it's insanely hard for me to be able to try to put trust or anything into someone like that, simply because there's so many people who over the years have messed with me or are right now at this very point looking to mess with me, okay? So, all that going on, all that going down, right? Basically what happened this week is essentially all of that kind of boost that I got from the Asmongold stuff is basically over with. Let's be honest here, okay? There are new viewers who are here. The engagement is actually higher than it used to be, and I appreciate that. I really do. But at the same time, yeah, it was inevitable that it was going to take probably about a month for it to peter out, and it has. Here we are now in about mid-January, and my levels are about back to where they were, which I always knew was going to happen. The good news is, unlike with the whole last arc that happened, this hasn't left a group of toxic people behind. In this case, the Asmongold crowd are a good crowd of gamers who are like mine with me, who like me and my content. And so those who stuck around are not, oh, we hate Phil. It's the opposite. Like, oh, we actually like Phil, and we're happy that we found him and that he's in the algorithm again. Okay? But, yeah, the boost that I had is gone. And basically now, what's happened is, you know, I'm doing some content and some streams, and it's just not doing as well as I hope. And that's frustrating, and that is disheartening, but at the same time, it's not horrible. It's not like I'm sitting here doing streams with no one showing up and no one, engaging the content and no one supporting it all. That hasn't happened. Okay, what's happened is you get slower streams, and that's okay. Like, that's the natural balance of things. You're not going to have insanely sky-high attendance, engagement, and support everything you do. I know that, being someone of my stature and scale, I'm not a ginormous content creator, okay? But when you put a lot of work into something and it doesn't pan out, it gets frustrating. All right, so notably, yesterday was a day when I was really disappointed with how stuff went, because I feel like I actually put out a really good product yesterday, but no one really noticed. All right, and what I mean by that is, yesterday on the first stream, I did the most disappointing games of 2025 countdown, and then I paired that with Pokemon. All right, and I feel like maybe that was a mistake, that maybe I shouldn't have paired those two things together, that they didn't really necessarily work together. And I think that moving forward, what I need to do is if I'm going to do year-end series, I do year-end series. And if I'm going to do gameplay, I do gameplay. Don't try to combine them because that's going to become confusing. It's going to split the audience. People are not going to know what's going on when. And that's exactly what happened yesterday. So I didn't do a podcast yesterday, but instead what I did was the countdown of the most disappointing games, which lasted about 90 minutes roughly. I think that countdown was great. I've actually watched back a lot of it, and I was nervous it wasn't going to be a good countdown because I was doing it differently, where we were watching clips of the games as I talked, and then I came back over here, swung the mic this way, narrated for a bit, then I swung back, and we talked about the next game. In reality, watching it back, I think it looked and sounded great. I'm actually very pleased with how that came out. I hope that you guys who have watched it after the fact are liking it. I haven't, to be honest with you, I haven't even looked at it overnight because I felt like I put a lot of effort into making that work, and I was hoping that it was going to do good, but the stream didn't do good. For the record, the stream actually performed worse than a normal stream if I had just played Pokemon. All right, and that's really what hit me is, damn, I put a lot of effort into that. I thought about the worst games. I got set all that up ahead of time with the video clips. I thought in my head about what I wanted to say about each game. I set it up so we could transition back and forth smoothly. I tweaked everything for that to work. I did it. Didn't really pay off at all. Most people are basically enjoying it, but the stream actually performed quite poorly compared to a normal Pokemon stream, which is pretty crazy to think that if I just sat here and chilled and just played Pokemon normally, it would have done better than this big event that I put effort and time into. Okay? So number one, that actually is one of the things that frustrated me, but I don't actually blame anyone but myself. I feel like the problem was I set it up for failure, pairing it with Pokemon. I should have just done one or the other, and that's my fault, I think. And that's something that I learn from, right? That's something that I grow and I improve and I change over time. Now I know, don't be doing these double streams. That's the thing is a lot of streamers do that. They'll do a stream that has 2-3 topics and they jump between a game here, there. It doesn't work for me. For me, it's always been focus on one thing and it'll work. If I don't, then people get confused, okay? So that's what I'm going to do moving forward. In fact, for the rest of the year-end series, I'm going to do one big stream for the Game of the Year countdown and for the DSP Tries It, Best of countdown. We're going to do all in one stream so that way no one's confused about the content. Okay? Good. Now, that's the thing that, number one, frustrated me yesterday. Putting all that effort into the year-end series, into the countdown, and basically didn't do very well at all. The stream actually underperformed versus a normal stream. But then on top of that, recently, I've been putting a lot of effort into Call of Duty. And what I mean by that is I have tried my hardest to improve my setup to try to make Black Ops 7 gameplay viable in my rotation. Previously, I don't feel it was. I tried playing Black Ops 7 when it came out in November, and I sucked at it hard. I was doing absolutely terribly. I told you guys I didn't really know what was going on because previous years I've played Call of Duty, and I've been able to do well. Usually mid to high up on the leaderboard when I play, getting great, kill streaks, good kill death ratios, doing all the unlocks and all of that. And it's been a great ride with Call of Duty being a variety kind of a game that I put into my rotation. But for whatever reason, this year, I just have sucked at it, right? I haven't done well at all. So I said, it's got to be something I can do because I don't want to give up on the game. I know there's people who like watching me play Call of Duty. So what did I do? Literally, I bought a high-end gaming keyboard that's supposed to be one of the best for competitive FPS. I bought a high-end gaming mouse. I bought new wrist rests that are for competitive gaming. I'm playing on a, high-end OLED monitor. I'm using surround sound now to hear where everyone is when I play. Okay, so I'm doing all of these things to improve the performance. The truth is, it's actually worked. It has. It's actually improving. My gameplay has gotten distinctly better. If you've watched the last couple of Call of Duty streams that I've done, I'm actually doing well. I'm placing on the leaderboards. I'm getting mostly positive kill death ratios. I'm unlocking new weapons and switching between them. I'm actually now doing the challenges again. I'm starting to do the daily and the weekly challenges and unlocking new things. Like last night when I played with the ballistic knife, it was very fun to see this new gadget in action and everything. It's been fun. I had a great time playing Call of Duty last night, despite the fact that I rage, because I always rage playing Call of Duty. I think that's part of the experience of it, right? But I still am having a blast and doing well. But it didn't translate into a successful stream again. Okay? And that's what I mean. Like, when I put the effort in to do all of these improvements, and for the record, again, it is stressful because not only am I listening to feedback and trying to do the stuff that you guys want, right? I'm ordering stuff. I'm setting it up. I'm tweaking it and getting it working. We're doing all these adjustments. I'm jumping between, oh, we're playing a game like this. No, now we have headphones on, surround sound. We're playing like this. Now we're jumping back over here. We're playing on a gamepad. Oh, wait, now we're doing this. It's a lot of work. And again, it's hard to not be scatterbrained with all the new changes and things that I've implemented. All right? And I know the content is looking better. I know the content is sounding better. Okay? I know all of this. My problem is it's not translating into people showing up, engaging and supporting the content. In fact, it's the opposite. Less people are doing so, with Call of Duty particularly. Okay? So on the first stream yesterday, I could say, that's on me. I made a miscalculation. I shouldn't have done a year-end series and paired it with Pokemon. I should have just had it separate. But, you know, you live and you learn. I'm not going to sit here and cry about it. We're just going to move forward and change what I do in the future. But with the Call of Duty thing, I just don't know what else I could possibly do at this point. Like, I've done everything I could to improve that experience, and I have improved the gameplay. But it doesn't seem like anyone cares. It's weird because there'll be times when people scream at me and say, we love Call of Duty, please keep it in the rotation. But then when I play it, it just doesn't translate into something that works. We end up with a lot of trolls who are just sitting around crapping on me, crapping on the gameplay, crapping on everything. And they just bring this toxic element. And listen, that's okay as long as it's paired with positivity. But I'm not seeing the positivity. You get people who claim they love this game, they want me to play it. Where are they when I play it? Last night, attendance was average. Okay? Engagement was okay. We had some people who were engaged and a lot of trolls. Support was just okay. It certainly was not a great stream. It wasn't a terrible stream. It was kind of middle of the road. But for the amount of effort that I put into it to improve it and make it work, that is actually very disheartening, and it crushes me. That's a lot of effort I put into trying to make this game work because people said they wanted it, and now it's still not working. So what do I do? Right now, people in the chat are like, well, the game sucks. Yeah, it's Call of Duty. It pretty much always sucks these days. Can we all kind of like agree on that? Like, Call of Duty hasn't been outright good in many years. Okay? They stopped putting effort in a long time ago when it started printing money and they had no competition anymore. They just stopped trying. You know, the game itself has taken out a lot of the things that used to be fun. Strategy doesn't even exist in the game anymore. A lot of it is just to kind of run around, twitchy shooting, abusing things like the auto aim and the aim assist and shit like that. It's bad. But you could still get enjoyment out of it as long as you understand what it is and you treat it for what it is. It's kind of a fun game. You run around, you have silly fun. You go for a crazy kill streak, shooting, you know, a knife out of your hand and stab someone, and then you summon a stupid drone and you fly around sniping for a while with this drone. You know what I mean? It's not, I don't think it's meant to be an ultra serious game for the sweats. Although some people play it like that, I think they're completely wasting their time with it. I just don't think it's that good of a game. But I think it's a game that works for variety for my content. I do. I truly believe that Call of Duty works for variety in my content. And that's why it's frustrating to me when I work hard to try to make it work for the content, because at first it wasn't. And I think we can all agree, you've seen that I did my best to improve as much as I could, and I have improved, but people just aren't clicking with it, right? To have a night where I play all night and I'm doing well, and, you know, we're getting mostly trolling and the support is not great, despite the fact that people claimed they wanted this, and that's why I kept, you know, improving it and trying to play it. Yeah, it's crushing. It's very, see, disappointing isn't really the word. Disheartening isn't really the word. Maybe like demotivating. Like, I've been, ever since the Asmongold interview, I've been very motivated to try to do as much as I can to improve as much as I can in a short period of time. My goal is that once the big releases of 2026 start to come out, I'm ready to go. I've improved as much as I possibly could. My setup is absolutely flawless. We're polished, right? We're polishing it. We're good to go. And also, my work-life balance is back in order. Everything is fine. We're in a good thing. Nothing's breaking and crashing. Everything's working on a daily basis. I want to be able to play all the big stuff this year and hang out with you guys and have a great time. In addition, I want to be able to adjust on the fly and play smaller games all the time. Whenever you guys tell me there's a new interesting game or thing, I want to be able to jump on it and just try it and play it. And that's a good thing, a change that I think is going to help a lot in 2026. Something that I've never really done before. All right? But yeah, yesterday actually upset me. And I just want to make that known. You know, I don't think it's particularly any one particular thing. It's just a day when I put a lot of work and effort into the whole day. And it had 2 slower streams. Not unsuccessful streams, not bad streams, but slower streams. You would think it would have been the opposite. Oh my God, it's the year-end series. People are going to rally and engage and have a great time. He'll put all this effort into Call of Duty, and he's doing all this fun stuff. He's playing the Fallout collab. He's using the ballistic knife. He's going crazy. Didn't translate into success. So that's a problem. And that's something that I want to be able to tackle and fix, but I don't know how. You know what I'm saying? And I think that that's something that we need to discuss. Like, how can I improve? What could I possibly do? Because it seems like at this point, even when I put in tons of effort, it doesn't necessarily translate into the success that I'm looking for. All right? Does that make sense? All right? And again, I'm not angry. I'm not, oh my God, why on earth didn't you guys come out in droves? Why didn't I double my stream attendance? Why didn't I double my support? That's not what I'm saying. All right? I understand that the short time that was going to happen with the Asmongold interview is gone. But when I'm listening to feedback and things that people are asking me, I want the year-end series. Where are the year-end series? And I start putting them out, and it really doesn't translate into success. Like, damn. When people are saying, we want Call of Duty, get better at Call of Duty because you suck at it, improve the Call of Duty. So I do, and then it doesn't work. It's frustrating. Okay? And that's where I'm coming from today. All right? So now, in addition to all of that going on, right, we've got a lot of other stuff happening. Like for example, I knew that today I was going to be doing some different stuff. I was going to be playing on PS5, and I was going to be playing Street Fighter 6 on PC for the first time in almost a year. So I knew that I had to do all that extra work to get all that working, and I just didn't have time to do it yesterday. With all the effort I had put into those 2 streams, I was behind the 8 ball. So last night, my family went to sleep, and I came into this office for almost 2 hours doing work to try to get ready for today. Okay? So the first thing I did is I booted up my PS5 for the first time in like months and months. You see here, I actually got my controller set up and ready to go. I'm trying to find a camera angle to show you. I guess the microphone's in the way. It's for today. And I did all the system updates. So this was confusing. I went to get code Violet for today, and it says it's a pre-order. And I'm like, dude, it's like past midnight. How is it a pre-order? Or how could this possibly be a pre-order? It claims it comes out on January 10th in the PlayStation Store. And I'm like, what? So I go online and I'm looking everywhere. Everywhere it literally says comes out on the 9th. And I'm like, why the hell does it say it comes out on January 10th? I didn't understand. It didn't make any sense. So I bought it and I installed it, and then you could just play it. So the game actually was mislisted on the PlayStation Store. It's actually live now. You can buy it and play it whenever you want, but it says it doesn't come out till tomorrow. No idea. All right. Good news is I got it working. I think now what I can do, and this is something that previously I hadn't been able to do, if I so choose, when I'm playing on PS5, I can now play at 1440p, which I never could do before. I could only do 1080p or 4K, because now I'm using this OLED monitor, and this monitor does 1440p. Previously, I was using my TV, and my TV would only do 1080 or 4K. Thing is, I think I'm just going to play at 4K. I don't see a reason not to. You guys will see it either at 1080 or 1440p, depending on where you're watching it. So, I got all that done. So as I was doing that, okay, I realized I had other things that I needed to do. For example, while I was doing that update, my PC needed to do Windows Update, and I hadn't done Windows Updates for a bit. I'd actually queued them up and said, oh, I'm going to do them one day, all together. And I was in here last night already. I said, I already got to update this and this. I might as well do the Windows Updates. So I started doing my streaming and capture PC, doing all the Windows Updates. And then I went onto my gaming PC, and I started downloading Street Fighter 6 again. For those who don't know, Street Fighter 6 is a huge download now on PC because, you have nearly 3 seasons of content in there, and it takes a long time to download. So I got that going, and I realized, oh, man, I need to tweak Street Fighter 6 for today. I need to make sure that it's running well. I need to make sure that I have the least input delay because, first time I'm playing it in a very long time. So I dusted off the old Victrix Pro, the joystick that I was using for the most time they're using playing Street Fighter 6. I cleaned it off. I got it working with the PC again, which it is. It's working very well, okay? And I downloaded Street Fighter 6. And I tweaked it a bit, and I did some testing. I did testing at 4K, 120 hertz, 1440p, 120 hertz, and 1080p, 1440 hertz. And distinctly testing all three, there's definitely the absolute least amount of input delay on 1080p. In fact, it's weird when you boot the game up, if you tell it to default to like the best settings, it gives you 1080p resolution. It's like the game itself knows that if you try to make it look better at higher resolution, it'll definitely look more pretty, but it adds input delay. So I was tweaking and messing with it. I was like, oh, okay. So it's working now, right? This is good. So that, that was excellent that I got that working. And I actually did a test set online last night. I did, what's it called? Player match, custom match, whatever it's called in Street Fighter 6. It wasn't ranked, but it was one set. I actually was only intending to play a single match, but I played someone and I accidentally kept rematching by accident. I couldn't figure out, I haven't played it in so long. I just kept mashing the button and it would rematch. So I ended up playing against a person who played Chun-Li, and I was using Lily. And it seemed to go absolutely really well. Like, it was smooth. It was reacting well. I don't think I had any dropped inputs or whatever. And it was a good set, a good match. So it ended up running really good. And I was like, all right, excellent. So I know what I'm doing today. Today I'm going to be playing at 1080p and, very low input delay when we play Street Fighter 6 later today. All right. It took, I'm not even kidding, it took like half an hour to download the game. The game is so huge and bloated now on PC with all the stuff they've added over the last 2.5 years. It took like ages, absolute ages, for this game to actually install and work properly. But seems to be working fine now, okay? Now, at the same time I was doing all of that, I was doing the Windows updates. And the thing is, to put this into perspective, I don't think there has been a single time that I've done a Windows update on the capture streaming PC where it hasn't caused a problem. Every single time that I've done a Windows update on the capture and streaming PC, something has gone wrong, and it resulted in me doing excessive amounts of extra work. Okay? So, just to go in line with that, I did the Windows updates yesterday, alright, and they ran, it updates, PC boots up, start to use it, webcam won't work. Great. And this actually had happened a year ago. If you remember, a year ago, I'd done exactly the same thing where I did all these cumulative Windows updates, and the webcam also wouldn't work then either. There's something with the older model of the Instalink webcam that it seems to have issues with Windows periodically. And then I guess what they do is they patch it later and it works again, but then sometimes it won't work again. So I ended up having to do, let's see, driver updates, software updates. I ended up having to do so much extra crap. What should have been a simple Windows update be done in 5 minutes, I'm not kidding you, it took about an hour to just keep redoing this shit. And even then, this camera, I'll show you which camera I'm talking about. This camera right here, okay, still is not fully updated. Okay, I put all updates in it. It still claims there's updates I didn't do. It says, oh, there's still driver updates you haven't applied to the camera yet. What are you talking about? I literally did all your updates, and it still says it's not done. So there's something weird, okay, in Windows with that particular camera that it just doesn't allow it to fully update, right? There's not much I can really do about that. Eventually, what I may do is give up and just buy another one of this one. This is called the InstaLink 2. That one's the original Link. I might just buy another Link 2. That way I have 2 cameras that are fully updated and they're working properly. Because I like that camera, but the thing is just constantly seems to have issues with Windows whenever I do this update. It drives me nuts. I shouldn't have spent like an extra hour of time in here doing that shit last night just because I wanted to fully update everything. Okay? So basically, you know, after a stressful day yesterday of working my butt off to do the year-end series, to improve Call of Duty, having 2 streams that I felt weren't successful because they didn't live up to what I had wanted from them with all the time and effort I put into them. I then came into this office for 2 hours last night, and I had to do all this other stuff behind the scenes that, again, this is the stuff people don't think about. Oh, you're a full-time streamer. You just sit there and you stream games all day. No, I deal with a lot of nonsense. I deal with a lot of updates, a lot of tech stuff, a lot of bullshit. It's very stressful. I should have been asleep. And instead, last night, I was in here for 2 hours, updating the PlayStation, tweaking Street Fighter 6, getting, you know, the capture streaming PC to work, which didn't work. So do the Windows updates, do the camera updates, do this. And it's very frustrating. Okay, it is. It's very, very stressful. So all I want to do today, all right, is sit here with all of you, try this Code Violet game, see if it's any good. Play some Street Fighter, have some fun. That's all I want to do. I don't want to sit here and argue and fight with idiots on the internet and mess with dumbasses who are spamming the chats and acting like fools. I don't want to sit here and stress about, are people going to show up and engage and support my fucking streams today? I just don't want to think about any of that. I just want to have a good time with you guys today. Does that make sense? I hope it does. You to understand that, like, my brain is always on overdrive, thinking about a million things at once. It's thinking about, what am I working on now? What happens between the streams? What do I got to do tonight? What do I have to do for my day off tomorrow? What do I do? You know, what I set up for the streams that are going to be on Sunday? You know, is there anything I have to tell anyone today? Is everything working properly? Do I have to adjust anything here? Do I have to do that? My mind never shuts up. I really wish that there was a point where I could just tell my mind, shut the fuck up and let me just sit here and relax. Because I actually feel like if I got some real relaxation for once, I'd feel a lot better. You know what I'm saying? But I don't really get to do that, particularly with all the work I've been putting in the last month and a half. It's been like constant stress and work and stress and work and stress and work. But I'm loving the content. Like, let me put it that way. I'm actually loving doing what I'm doing. I like how everything looks better, sounds better. I like that we can do a bigger variety of games. I like that some of the games that I played that weren't doing well, I'm playing better at them. I love all these improvements. Now I just need this to translate into results so I can relax. Okay? That's basically what's going on with me right now. So I hope that you understand that. It's kind of very different from how it used to be. Because it used to just be like me standing here demanding and being very kind of entitled and greedy and saying, gimme, 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 why aren't you giving me? That's not what I'm saying at all. What I'm trying to do is express to you what's going through my mind, why I'm kind of stressed out, and why things are going the way that they are. And, you know, trying to figure out what we can do to improve that together. Okay? So, would you guys like me to take care of this now? Because do you see what I'm saying? That I'm just trying to, like, talk and finish thoughts, and you see what these idiots do in my chat. See, for those watching on demand, you have no idea. There have been, like, it's probably only one person, but it's like 2 or 3 accounts that have been spamming my chats with troll stuff the entire time I've been talking to try to derail it and let me not pay attention to what I'm doing here. So, you know, would you like me to take care of it? Now, we had a mod helping before, but I guess the mod took off. And so because of that, we haven't had a chance to shut these guys up. Would you like me to do that now? Okay, there's 2. You see, this is why I'm not going to freak out about it. It's like, dude, I'm at this point in my life, I'm not going to sit here and freak out about this nonsense, these idiots. If anything, you guys who are normal people have been sitting there watching those guys in the chat, and you know that they're just crazy, right? Like, they're just unhinged lunatics. Letting them actually sit there and talk like that just exposes them for what they are. Because it would be one thing if they said the thing once and then moved on, but they've literally been sitting there for 15, 20 minutes spamming. They have no, they don't understand that it's not effective when you do it the 20th, 30th time. See what I mean? People paying me to do this, they don't understand that this has no effect on me. You're paying me. You understand that, right? You're actually paying me money to send me this. It's not effective. Anyway, so now that I've gotten that off my chest, all right, and you understand where I'm coming from and what's going on, all right, what I think we got to do is we got to talk a little bit about the schedule this week and what to do, and we got to talk about the gaming news thing I want to definitely talk about, because that's another thing that we've been talking about recently. Why I'm not covering so much game news on this show, because there really is none, and we'll talk about that in a second, okay? But here's the deal, all right? So I put all this time and effort into the disappointing games of the year countdown, all right? I have no clue how it's performing. I haven't looked at it, so I have no clue if it's getting views or not on demand. I hope it is. The stream just did not do that well. The stream, like I said, it actually performed worse than if I had just played Pokemon, which is sad to think, okay? So I hope you guys, at the very least, are enjoying the disappointing games countdown on demand, okay? Moving forward, all right, with the year-end series, I'm going to do my Game of the Year awards and the countdown of the best and worst of DSP Tries It in one stream. Now, I don't know if it's going to be a day stream or a night stream as of yet, simply because I don't know. I haven't had time to sit down and work on it yet. I don't know, with the videos I'm going to put together and everything, I don't know how long it'll be, but it's all going to be one stream. Might be a day stream, but maybe it'll be a night stream. We'll see. Okay, but hold on. In regards to this, all right. Oh, that's something that I don't have open here. Hold on. See, I redid everything yesterday, and I did not open everything that I wanted to open here. There we go. Okay, cool. Okay, so the year-end series, the rest of them will be coming up, but not next week. Just to tell you right now, next week I literally just want to focus on like hanging out and playing games. Next week, that's all I want to do next week. Okay, so next week will be all game focused and all that. Likely it'll be either the week after or the last week of January, when I will do a dedicated stream for the Game of the Year awards, as well as the DSP Tries It countdown. Okay, I'll let you know about that when we get to it. Now, I know some people will complain and be like, well, that takes too long. Well, that's just how it is. I'm a one-man show, all right? I don't have a clone. I don't have a team of people I hire and work with to do stuff for me. I'm doing it all myself. I need time to work on it. I'm already stressed out with how this week went. I want to make sure that this is going to be a good stream. I'll let you know when it's going to be, when I know, which likely, again, probably middle to late January, but not any sooner. It's not going to be this coming week at all, okay? I hope that makes sense. Now, in regards to the schedule coming up, all right? So today we're going to try this Code Violet game, but apparently Code Violet is only 6 hours long, maybe 7, so it's going to likely only be 2 to 3 streams tops. Obviously, that means that we're not going to be playing it that long, and we're going to have to look for other stuff to do. So right now, it's going to be Code Violet this afternoon, and Street Fighter 6 returning for Friday Night Fights tonight. I'm excited for that. Like I said, I did one test set against someone in a casual play last night. It seemed to go really well. The game controlled well. Didn't seem like there was much or any input delay. I had a good time with it, so I'm looking forward to that tonight, and I hope that you'll join me for that on the late stream tonight. Friday Night Fights finally returning. I'm off from streaming tomorrow. On Sunday, we will do a podcast, and then we will do more Code Violet. And then Sunday night is RimWorld, the real run. And what I mean by that is we're starting over a new group of survivors, normal difficulty, interacting and listening to all of you with your feedback. It's going to be a great time because it's not the tutorial anymore, and it's not easy mode. It's going to be the real game. Hey, if there's horrible disaster and they all pass away, that's fine. Then we can start over again on the next stream. That's all right. I think that's what people are saying. That's part of the joy of RimWorld, is you never know what's going to happen. It could be incredibly chaotic, And when that happens, you adjust on the fly, right? And you get better at the game and you learn from experience. And sometimes you just have the bad luck and there's nothing you can really do about it, right? So, yeah, I'm excited for RimWorld on Sunday night. Now, what really the question mark is going to be then is what the rest of next week is going to be. And the reason I say that is because originally we had an idea of what we wanted to do, but it might change. So, for example, I want to do some more Clair Obscure Expedition 33 on Monday. We're in the end game. We're going to finish this big challenge, Endless Tower, and then we're going to go into the final dungeon and try to get to Simon. And then that night, Monday night, there's a new game coming out. It's called Quarantine Zone: The Last Check, and I want to check that out. It's an indie game from Devolver Studios, Devolver Digital, and it's about survivors during a zombie outbreak going to a checkpoint, and you're in charge of scanning them to investigate if they're actually healthy or if they may be infected with the zombie virus. And apparently it's a mini game, and it's gonna probably be fun. I think some people are even like, it's kind of like Papers, Please, but in full 3D. So I think that'll be a neat game to try out on Monday night. Tuesday, we're gonna do Pokemon Legends ZA, and it's the conclusion of the game, meaning we almost have nothing left to do. All we have to do is catch a few of the rare Pokemon that are left. There's like legendary Pokemon left, and there's like one or two. There's a lot of side content missions, but obviously you don't need to do all of those. So it's going to be the final stream. Finally, after 3 months, it's the last hurrah for Pokemon, and we're going to give the game a send-off on Tuesday's daytime stream. And then Tuesday night, we're going to do some Arc Raiders drops, which actually should go really well, because when I played Arc Raiders last, we had an absolutely great time. But then for the rest of the week, maybe there's only one stream left to beat Code Violet. So if that's the case, okay, for those who don't know, there's actually another game that just came out. And I don't know if you guys heard about it. We had talked about it. It's actually called Pathologic 3. And I don't know if you guys are interested in this game or not. But as you can see, it's a game where basically there's a big, like, plague outbreak. And I guess it's supposed to be an RPG where people are infected and you're supposed to be going around trying to treat them and cure them. Well, I guess there's, like, people burning the people and stuff like that. And I guess it's the third in a series, and people say that the series, you know, there's a fan base for it. I've never played the series before. I don't know why they keep showing this, but I'd be interested in checking it out if this is something that you guys are interested in. All right, it just came out today, and this was one that we had talked about when we were looking at the game schedule coming up, that it may be something different or interesting to actually try. So, are you guys interested in Pathologic 3? Is this a game that you'd like me to check out? For the record, it's not expensive at all. It's $28, but actually they're selling this a bundle with Darkwood, and I already own Darkwood, so I can get it for like $23. So, no big deal. Like, let's say I buy it and we play it once or twice, and we never play it again. That's fine. I don't care. This is one of the major changes for 2026 that I want to make clear. I'm willing to try games, and if they don't work, that's okay. If they work, great, but no commitment and no risk. Like, this is fine. We can play this and see if we like it or not. So what do you guys think? Pathologic, yes or no? I'm down for it. If you guys would like it, we could check it out. Okay? Now, Broden has been mentioning this game. He says there's a game called Hytale coming out on the 13th. He thinks it'll be popular. Hytale, Hytale. It is apparently not on Steam. Where is this game, Broden? He says he thinks it'll be popular. It's not even on here. I don't know. Do we know anything about this Hytale game? He says it's not. Where is it then? If it's not on Steam, where do you get it? He said try Googling it. All right, hold on. What the heck is it? Hytale. The freedom of sandbox with the momentum of an RPG. It's blocky graphics similar to Minecraft. Let me show you guys. Sorry, I just realized I'm not showing you what I'm looking at. Sorry about that. It's kind of like Minecraft graphics. For adventurers, minigame players, and creators. A world to explore. Choose your path. Yeah, see? It looks like Minecraft. Very similar. I mean, it's definitely Minecraft style. I don't know if you guys would be interested in this. Again, I'm okay with trying it. As long as it, you know, ain't $100, I'll try any of these kind of games. Seriously. Now, I don't know if it's not on Steam. I don't know where the hell it is. It says it'll be launching in early access, but it doesn't say where. Pre-purchase? I'm just curious if it'll give us data about this. Standard, Supporter, and Curse Breaker. Early access will begin January 13th. Gee, what do? You just install it on your PC as a normal program, huh? No launcher? Interesting. All right, I mean, again, I'm down to try something like that, for sure. So here's what we need to do is let's figure it out. You know, today we're doing Code Violet. We'll do it again Sunday. We got the other stuff in the rotation, but by all means, this week will absolutely be a week where we can explore this kind of stuff. Like, I feel like this is the week where if we're going to do exploratory content, try a few different games, we can. We could try Pathologic. We could try Hytale. We could try these other games and see if they fit into the schedule and see if you guys like them or not. This is absolutely one of the major changes that I want to make in this new year. Is it's not just about me playing every major release or only playing tried and true games. It's about us trying different things. We may find hidden gems that most people don't talk about or know about. Or maybe we'll find one of these gems at the same time other creators are testing them out. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm okay with that. Let's do it. Next week, I think that's how we should approach the week. Let's approach it with an open attitude of, hey, maybe try a few games and see if anything's are any good, right? We go from there. In addition, remember, there's other things people want me to do as well. Let's say none of this pans out. We could always go and do a modded run of one of the Dark Souls games, because we said that this year I want to play either Dark Souls 2 or 3 as a modded game, and that would be really fun to do. We could eventually go back and play a game like someone just said, Bono's Tempo says, what about playing original Hollow Knight after Silksong? You said you would play it. Yeah. Like, why not? That's something we could do too. We have many options of things that we can do. We are absolutely nowhere in a situation where we're just a drought for games and we have nothing to do. It's the complete opposite. It's just a matter of finding the good ones that people are going to want to like to see, right? Okay, so I've said a lot. I said my piece. I hope you guys understand where I'm coming from. Obviously, I welcome all feedback for what I'm going through and everything that's happening right now. Okay? And thank you for listening. I want to also talk about the fake news thing going on in gaming right now, but I want to do some shout-outs because we just got a ton of contributions and things that came in, and I haven't done a single shout-out yet today, so I want to do that first, okay? So first off, there's a bunch of kicks that all came in over on Kick, so allow me to shout these out. Okay, we have 500 kicks that came in from Definitely Not French. All right, let me go ahead and get them on the leaderboard. And they said, hire an editor on Fiverr from outside of the vortex. Of course, if you source them from Twitter or Kick, they're going to be detractors. Okay. Kaluth did 500 kicks. Can you unban my YouTube account? It's the same username. I've sent emails about it. Please and thank you. I've been banned for 3 years. I can't just do that. I need to have your @YouTube address to unban anyone. If you email me right now with your @YouTube address, I have my email open. I'll unban you live. And then there was 500 kicks from Captain Cooks. Are you going to play a game or is this a business meeting? This is a podcast, and I play games after the podcast ends. Now, originally, I didn't plan on doing a podcast today, but I'm doing one on the fly because the events of recent, warrant one. If you're not okay with that, come back later. I would say if you want to see the gameplay of Code Violet, come back probably around 1:15 to 1:30 p.m. Pacific time, and we'll start Code Violet. Okay? I'm not going to be upset that you said that. I'm just going to say, all right, I get it. I originally didn't plan a podcast today. So there you go. Okay? All right, now we have YouTube side contributions. We have Sonic Swag with a $2 super chat, and he said there were trolls on YouTube. I'm aware. If you couldn't tell, I was ignoring them on purpose because I basically wanted to expose them for how unhinged and crazy they were. And then eventually I got around to shutting them down. But, I don't want my end-all be-all of my streaming to be addressing trolls and wasting time on them. They're meant to be ignored. Okay? Let's see here. And then we had the Cheesy Bear sending me $5 and then insulting me. Thanks for the $5. Once again, he just continues to send super chats and say dumb stuff I don't address. Princess Luna has gifted a membership this morning. Thank you to Princess Luna for the gifted membership. I appreciate that. Soul at 2 a.m. just did a $5 super chat. And he's suggesting a game called The Baby in Yellow, a horror comedy with puzzle elements you might like, and it's not super long either. The Baby in Yellow. Here, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put Hightail into my my favorites, so that way I can go back to it maybe next week and take a look at it. It comes out early access the 13th. Maybe there's something to check out and see if we like it. Okay, you said the Baby in Yellow, right? Is that on Steam? Let's see. The Baby in Yellow came out in 2023. All right, something to look at. Early access game. Can I wishlist it? No, because it's early access only. What I would say is maybe next week, let's take a look at that. You know, when we get to those days when we're going to be looking for new games and stuff. Thank you for the suggestion. I appreciate that. Okay. Cool. Oh, my nose is itching all of a sudden. Ooh, right out of nowhere. Okay, thank you for that. Soul at 2 a.m. What's going on with the music right now? Is it playing? Oh, it's starting a new one right now. Wow, it was like ending a song. It was like taking forever for some reason. Okay. So someone tipped me $5. And it's actually a very nice message. Okay, hold on. I was wondering what's taking so long. There we go. So thanks for the $5 tip. And by the way, it's anonymous. You know what's going to be funny? Tonight I'm going to be playing Street Fighter 6. And if anyone contributes $5, I'm going to hear Shoryuken. I'm going to think it's in the game. So this person says, researching, planning your 2 daily streams, streaming for several hours, moderating the streams, uploading, editing that content, making the thumbnails, doing the social media. This is a lot of work for a single person to handle. You got to delegate some of your tasks. Contact some people you know and trust and ask for references. Well, number one, contact someone I know and trust. You may not be aware of this, but most people who are in the industry want nothing to do with someone who is harassed as much as I am on the internet. Okay? Are there some people who I talk to who are creators? Yes. They don't want to talk to me about professional contacts and things like that. Most people don't want to touch me with a 10-foot pole. They think if I associate with Darkside Phil, that immediately means I'm going to be doxxed, I'm going to be harassed, all of his trolls are going to come after me. And that's not wrong. So that's the problem that I live with, is in order to find someone who would be willing to help, that person needs to understand that they may now be systematically harassed by a bunch of actually mentally ill people on the internet for literally no good reason. You say, go to Fiverr or go somewhere and pay someone. No one's going to agree to that. They're going to say, wait, you're DSP. The moment that I start editing for you, the moment that I start doing work for you, if anyone finds out I'm doing it, I'm going to get harassed. That's the problem. You see, that's the real problem here. That no one in the industry is going to say, oh, I'll just recommend this editor to you who I work with because they don't want their editor to get harassed. You see? I know that you're, oh, well, that's paranoid. No, I wish it was. It's not. There's people who literally just, have a casual acquaintance with me who have gotten harassed because these people online are insane. It went from, at one point, let's just laugh at Phil being a bad gamer, to let's say Phil is not a bad gamer and doesn't deserve any of the success that he gets on the internet. Then it became, let's take his content and make these insanely long videos to make fun of how bad of a gamer he is. Then it became, let's take all of his other content, his quotes, his things, and let's actually misrepresent him to make him look like a bad person. Then it became, let's actually make him look like a bad person, Then it became, let's monetize videos about making him look like a bad person. And then it became a viral, sick thing to make Darkside Phil look like a villain for personal gain. So now what you have is an entire crazy, mentally challenged mob of people who actually think I'm some kind of a terrible person and that anything they can do to possibly hurt me or anyone around me is validated because they watched some bad videos about me that said I was a bad person. They're that crazy and unhinged, and that's not an exaggeration. That's my reality that I live with every day. That's what I tried to tune out and pay no attention to, because in reality, if I just sit here and I stream and make my own content, it doesn't really affect me. When it does affect me is when I do try to reach out and have interactions with other people. Anyone who has an interview with me, anyone who tries to work for me or with me gets affected by this toxic stuff that I don't have any control over, nor have I created. So I appreciate your $5 tip. I agree with you. It would be great if I could delegate. It would be great if I could find some people I could trust, but few and far between. I've had people over the years who were editors for me who got systematically harassed and had to step down and said, I just can't do this anymore. I can't be in this vortex of toxicity because I have my own life and I can't have that be affected. You know, my moderators are some people who've been absolutely harassed constantly for absolutely no reason whatsoever. They do nothing but moderate chat. That's it. But they, get attacked too. Like, for what? So that's what you have to understand. It's easy to say, hey, it's a simple solution. Hire an editor. Find someone you can trust. That's the most hard thing to do. Like, no exaggeration. That's actually the hardest thing I could possibly do. But you wouldn't understand that unless you were actually in this vortex with me to see the crazy stuff that these people do. Okay. Ryoto Mastermind, how are you doing? Thank you for 55 months as a member on this channel. I appreciate that very, very much. Someone named Hughes Pipe did an Australian $2.99 super chat and says, blow me a kiss, Phil. No. But thank you for the super chat. It's about $2. I appreciate that. All right. All right. So there's one more thing I want to talk about on the podcast, and then we'll do some Q&A. All right. So, Jade, I bet we're going to see T-Rexes today. I bet we are. I think that's what this game is all about, actually. Okay. So, one final thing that I want to talk about here, okay, is news as of recently. Okay. Oh, you did? Kaluth just did another 500 kicks. Says he actually sent me the email. Let's see. Oh, it's you. Yeah, because you talked shit yesterday. All right, so if I unban you and you say do it one more time, don't keep asking. Do you understand? Like, that's the whole point. Wait, were you on Kick? Hold on. Maybe this is a different person. That was on Kick, so this is the other person. Oh, this is a different person. Okay. So you are also unbanned. So the two people who just emailed me to be unbanned, you're both unbanned. Okay? Cool. It's a lot easier to do it now. Wow. It's way easy to do this stuff. I love it. I certainly love the new improvements that I made where everything's easier to do. That's for sure. Okay. So thank you again, Kaluth, for the 500 kicks there. I appreciate the support today. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, as you know, when I do the Level 1 podcast, I usually like to address major topics in gaming. I don't address every minor little thing that happens, that's for sure. I try to address some of the bigger stories, the major stories, or maybe the ones that appeal more to me. I know that means sometimes I'll bring up things that are like Street Fighter related, and people are like, why does he do that? He doesn't play Street Fighter all the time. It's things that are more interest to me. But in general, you'll notice when I bring up gaming news and the like, it's usually going to be stuff that is confirmed news, is a story that affects the streams or maybe content that we were going to do, stuff like that. What you'll notice about my podcast is that we don't always talk about game news. Notably, I usually don't talk about game news when there's nothing to really talk about. Allow me to explain, okay? couple weeks ago. There was a big news story. All the gaming news sites covered it. The gaming journalists covered it. The gaming social media accounts covered it. And this was the article. The PlayStation 6 and the next Xbox may be delayed because of hardware cost increases. Because RAM is costing so much right now, the release of the next wave of consoles may be delayed. Go check it out right now. You'll find this story. It was a week or two ago. It was everywhere. All right, would you like to know what that story is based on? Nothing. Nothing. There was nothing going on in news one day, and one of these journalists said, let's use common sense. In the news is that the prices of RAM is going up because of AI. Everyone's using AI now to generate videos and slop, and because of that, RAM needs to be used heavily, so the cost of RAM is increased. So let's put 2 and 2 together. If RAM prices are skyrocketing, then the cost of making anything, including PCs, any kind of computers whatsoever, even in vehicles and things, but also gaming consoles, the price is going to go up. Well, if the price goes up, they're not going to want to charge way too much for the next gen of consoles, so maybe they'll delay the release of the next gen of consoles. Okay, so I'll write this article that says gaming consoles may be delayed because of cost of RAM is up. It's literally based on nothing. There was no one in the industry who talked about this. There's no insider who talked to someone at Sony or someone at Xbox. It doesn't exist. It literally was an invented story, and because it was a slow news day, all the outlets picked it up as if it were a real story and reported nothing. They literally reported a hypothetical based on common sense that if prices are up, maybe it'll delay the development of the next console. No shit. If you have like 3 intelligence points in your fucking head, if you have an IQ that's around human level, you could probably figure that out. That's not game news. It doesn't need to be reported. It doesn't need to be talked about. It's a complete waste of everyone's time. Why is it on the front page of every gaming news website? Why is every content creator talking about it? And why is it on every social media post? Because people are desperate. They need to get your clicks, your views, and your attention every day. So they'll literally just talk out of their ass about shit. All right, here's the next one. This one just happened a couple days ago. All right? Grand Theft Auto 6 may not actually come out in November. Signs are pointing to the fact that maybe the game won't be ready and it'll still be delayed. No shit. Let me ask you a question. When a game is going to come out within the next year, if you have seen no gameplay, if there has been no advertisement campaign, if there is no updates on the game for over a year, does it sound like the game is on track in its development cycle? If a game was about to be released in the next year, and it's one of the most hyped, anticipated games of all time, don't you think said game developer would talk about the game and give the people who are going to buy the game and hype the game information about said game? So what would be the reason why they wouldn't be doing that? Maybe because it's not ready yet? I mean, again, it's common sense stuff. Like, you don't need to be a rocket scientist to figure this out. But apparently when it comes to journalism in the modern day, this is news, okay? So it starts getting reported on the internet again. Oh, GTA 6 may be delayed. Reports are that maybe it's not ready to be released. They haven't even gotten to the testing phase yet. No shit, how could they be testing it if it's not done? What would you test? Is it... No shit, that's what I mean. And this was a big news article because it was that Jason Schreier guy, I think is his name. And don't get me wrong, Jason has done good journalism in the past. I actually particularly like this book that he wrote that turned into an audiobook. It was about the game development of certain games, including the game Destiny. It was a fascinating listen. I listened to the audiobook version of it. Every once in a while, he comes out with some good articles. This was garbage. This was literally, there's nothing to talk about. We have no information. So let's speculate and let's talk nonsense. There's nothing concrete here. It's just a waste of everyone's time. And everyone picked it up as news. Okay? Now, the biggest one so far is this morning. Did you hear the news this morning, folks? You ready? Did you hear this new news story? Ladies and gentlemen, the pricing for the Steam machine has leaked. Whoa! It did? Yes. Did you know? The Steam Machine pricing has leaked. Okay, there's going to be two versions. One version is 512 gigabytes, and one is 1 terabyte. The 512 gigabyte version is going to be $900 and change, and the 1 terabyte version is going to be $1,070. Okay? Okay? There you go. That's the news. It's all over the internet right now. I'm serious. Go look. I swear to God, go look on the internet. Search right now. Everyone's reporting this information. Okay? Except, it's not real. It's not real news. It's fake. It's fabricated. This story that is now going all over the internet about the Steam Machine pricing, and everyone's reacting to it saying, I think that's too expensive, or, oh, that's kind of right, dead on where I thought it was going to be. It's all nonsense. Do you want to know where this information came from? A Czech website that is listing the Steam Machine for pre-sale, that apparently this pricing is listed internally in the source code of the website. So it's not publicly on the page, but people ripped the source code of the page and found this pricing embedded in the source code of the page, and they're now reporting that is the pricing of the Steam Machine. Okay? Now, that's funny, but let me ask you two questions, okay? Number one, is the Czech Republic in the United States where this console is actually being sold from? No. So even if this information were true and this were the real pricing, you have to understand that right now there's tons of tariffs going on. Pricing is different worldwide because there's lots of tariff issues going on with United States products and international products. Likely any international website that listed pricing for anything has a big inflation set to it because of these tariffs. All right? So even if the Czech Republic is saying we're going to sell this for $900 for the 512 gigabyte, $1,070 for the terabyte, that doesn't represent what actually will be the price in the United States or elsewhere. Okay, that's number one. That's just one thing on surface level. But here's the best part about all of this. Ladies and gentlemen, the Steam Machine is being sold by Valve, the company that makes all the video games and, well, I guess used to make video games, and they sell all these things. They're also going to be selling the Steam controller and all this other stuff, right? No, it's only sold by Valve. That's it. Only Valve is selling it. Valve is not going to be shipping Steam Machines anywhere for sale. They're the only ones selling it. So what does that mean about the website in the Czech Republic that says this is the pricing for the Steam Machine? It means they made it up because they're not going to sell it. Maybe they're speculating as a reseller. Maybe they're thinking they're going to buy some from Valve and then they're going to resell it at a scalped price. But they're not going to sell it direct because Valve is the only company on Earth that will sell the Steam Machine. No one else has the rights to sell it. They're not shipping it to Target or Walmart or Best Buy or any retailer. No one will have it. Only Valve. So it doesn't matter what anyone lists on a website. It's all bullshit. The pricing will never apply because it has to be lies because they don't know what the price is because only Valve is selling it. So why is it a news story this morning that this is the leaked pricing of the Steam Machine, and why is everyone reacting to it? So do you understand why when you hear all these trends and when you see all this stuff going on, okay, that this is why I don't report on it. This is why I don't talk about this. It's literally all crap. 100%. It's garbage. It's all made up. They fabricate the story. They emphasize it like it's fact, and then it passes along the grapevine, right? I heard it through the grapevine, and everyone starts misreporting the information as if it's real and confirmed. And the next thing you know, you got big content creators reacting to the stories as if they're real. You got journalists reporting it saying, oh yeah, this is actually happening. It's all bullshit. So that's why you never hear me talking about these stories, and people bring it up every day. Phil, why aren't you going to talk about this? Didn't you hear about this? No, because it's fake. It never was real. Now, rest assured, there's plenty of game news that I'm sure goes down that I'm not aware of and that I miss. And I appreciate those who try to bring stuff to my attention. But in reality, this internet journalism is all a sham to begin with. These are people who are trying to engagement bait you. They want your view, they want your click, and they want you to repost their article so that they get attention on their content. Why does that work? Well, because if, for example, if they're on a website like X, more engagements means they actually get paid for it. I'm serious. If it's someone who's trying to get over in the industry, they could say, hey, look, my article got so many shares and retweets, hire me. Hire me as a freelance journalist for your site, and then it could result in money for them. It could result in them actually getting free products. Because you may not be aware, but these so-called games journalists, a lot of the time, get sent stuff for free. Here, try this controller, try this game, try this console. And now they have something else that they can post about and continue this cycle. So they don't care if what they're reporting is a fact or not. They don't care if it's a real story or not. What they care about is, did they get your attention and did you give it to them? If you gave it to them, they've won. The moment that you engaged with that content, that you read the article, you clicked on it, you shared it, you talked about it, you gave them what they were looking for. You continued the endless cycle of reporting slop as fact for engagement baiting. So it's pretty sad because it's happening more and more and more. And people don't realize it. They just think, oh no, it's real. This is what's going on. And you know what the sad part is? In regards to human beliefs and human thought process, you know what they say? First impressions are everything. I'll give you an example about this, okay? Remember when the Xbox One was going to launch and we had Don Matrick as the figurehead of Microsoft, and he comes out and he says, if you want a console where you don't need an internet connection, where you can share your games with your friends and all this, get the Xbox 360. That's the Xbox One is not for you. You remember when he said that? You remember how bad of an impression that left on a lot of people? What ended up happening was people heard that and never knew that Microsoft backpedaled on all of that. That eventually when the Xbox One launched, it had used games available. You didn't need an internet connection to use it. No one knew that. I was literally waiting in line to buy Grand Theft Auto 6. Excuse me, Grand Theft Auto 5. So we're talking 12 years ago. And as I'm waiting in line to buy Grand Theft Auto 5, there's other people in line talking about the Xbox One. They're like, are you going to get an Xbox One? No, I'm not getting that piece of garbage. I'm getting the PlayStation 4. That's where it's at, man. Well, why aren't you going to get the Xbox One? I thought you have an Xbox 360. Didn't you hear? Can't use used games. You need an internet connection. I don't want any of that crap. I just want a good old console, so I'm getting my PS4. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, dude, that was information from like 6-7 months ago. It's all, the whole story's changed, but they don't know that. All they heard was the initial story. They just believed it 100%. They never followed up. They never knew the updates that Microsoft changed all of that. And they had made a purchasing decision solely on that initial impression of outdated information. And that was 12 years ago. I hate to tell you, folks, people haven't gotten any smarter in the last decade. They've gotten a lot dumber, okay? So what's happened now is people will listen to these stories on the internet, believe them at face value without ever researching them, and just think it's fact. So right now, there's people who will believe the Steam machine will be around $1,000, and they will never listen to any other information from anyone telling them what the real pricing is when it's announced. In their minds, they will always believe Steam machine is $1,000. You know? And that's just how humans are now. They're dumb. They're very ignorant. They don't seek out information or truth. They just believe everything on the internet, and that's it. So that's why I don't talk about this nonsense. That's why when you come to the Level 1 podcast, you just don't hear me covering bullshit or talking about every little rumor or story. It's not even a story. It really isn't a story. It's like a whisper in your ear. Hey, did you hear what Josie said about Mike today? Yeah, Josie says that Mike's feet stink. Oh, wow. Well, I'm not 5 years old, so I don't give a fuck. If a company comes out and says, here's the pricing officially. If Rockstar comes out and says, we're delaying the game, okay? If any of this concrete stuff happens, then I care. I just don't give a shit about any of this nonsense, this rumor-mongering bullshit, and you're never going to hear me talking about it on DSP Gaming because that's a waste of everybody's time. We have better things to do, okay? Am I going to get a Steam machine? Probably not. I'm interested in the Steam controller. You know, as much as I love my Razer Wolverine 8K Pro controller, I think it's probably one of, if not the best controller I've ever used. Okay. I'm interested in the Steam controller because it's basically this controller, but also with a touchpad that doubles as a mouse. And if that's the case, and you can play games that usually are better with mouse and keyboard, you know what I'm saying, with the touchpads, I think that's kind of unique. Imagine, instead of thumbsticks, you're using the touchpad to move around and aim, playing an FPS and stuff. It's kind of interesting premise. So I'm definitely interested in the Steam controller. I don't think I'm going to be dropping, arguably, anywhere from $700 to $1,000 for a Steam machine. What would I do with it? You know what I mean? Like, I don't really have a practical use for it. I'm all for dropping money on stuff that I'm going to use, and it could improve the setup or my performance in a game or whatever. But that, I just don't know what I would do with it. You know what I mean? Like, we could do tech tests with it and stuff, but I'm not going to play games on there when I have a gaming PC that's dedicated to it. You know what I'm saying? So, I just don't see the point. Okay. Okay, folks, so here's the deal. I just talked a ton. I got what I had to say off of my chest. I hope that you guys appreciate the fact that I took the time to talk to you this morning about it. And I hope that you get something out of it. I hope that you'll give me feedback. I hope you understand where I'm coming from with my frustrations, with the amount of time and effort and work that I'm putting into everything, and the fact that this week it just didn't translate into success. I'm sorry that it didn't, because I feel like if it didn't translate into success, that means I failed. All right? And I hope that you don't feel that way, but maybe you do. I want to entertain you guys. I want to put out good content for you that you want to be here for and to engage and support. And the fact that we did a year-end series yesterday and it did worse than a regular gameplay stream, like, what on earth? The fact that I put all the time, effort, and hardware upgrades into Call of Duty and people didn't really care. Yeah, it's disappointing, it's disheartening, and I want to know what to do about that. I would love your feedback, and I'd like to take some of it right now as I open up the chats to Q&A. Please tag me in either chat and let me know what's going on, and we'll go from there. Let's go. Let's hear your thoughts right now. You get it? It says they just cannot show up for late streams. Well, it is what it is, and I understand that. Not everyone can show up for every stream. And actually, there have been a few people who have said to me, you know, when you're doing stuff on late streams, it's way too late because I live in Europe or whatever, and I just can't show up. I understand, all right? That is why I do stuff on demand, and I hope that you do watch the stuff on demand after the fact if you don't see it live, okay? And thank you for sharing. I get that. Okay. Jade, tonight I'm definitely using Lily. I'm not using Zangief because I'm out of the loop on him. Like I said, it's probably going to be like Lily, Honda, maybe some Dalzim, and probably some Blanca. If we even have time for all four characters, we'll see. Godless Gamer, see here, I understand what Godless Gamer is coming from. Here's what Godless Gamer just said. We got to understand that when you did the year-end series yesterday, it was more like a presentation. It was more like you were doing a countdown. That's, you know, way harder to interact with than, say, gameplay. If you're doing gameplay, we can talk with you during the gameplay, react to the gameplay. When you were doing the year-end series, it felt like you were doing an on-demand video. No, I even said that as much during the video. I said, I guess people didn't understand that I kind of wanted to turn it into an interactive thing, where basically if you had feedback on my entry or what I was saying at a certain point of the countdown, that you would react to it and talk with me in chat. Because there were a few people, but only very few who did that. Most people just sat there and watched and like were watching as if it were an on-demand video. In which case, if that is the case, okay, if that is the case, I could do the year-end series just as on-demand videos, but that means that I have to take streams away to work on them, you see? And that's kind of the trick is people say that they want all the streams, but then they also want the year-end series. Well, I can't, you know what I'm saying? Like, someone's got to give. I'm only one guy, and I'm literally doing it all, right? Someone did a 222 tip talking about jowls again. Thanks a lot for $2. I appreciate that. Okay. Okay, let's see. Realistically, when do I think GTA 6 will release? When it's ready. When it's ready. The problem is people are wanting it like right away, and Rockstar took so long to start actually developing it. That's what's taking so long. The problem is not the game. The problem is people put so much money into GTA Online that Rockstar didn't care about GTA 6. Why would they even look to make it when GTA Online was making them so much money? In fact, isn't it a true statement that it wasn't until maybe 2 years ago, so we're talking 2023, 10 years after its inception, that GTA Online's profitability finally took a dip, and that's when they finally said, okay, full development of GTA 6? In this industry, all right, it is direct cause and effect. If you reward a certain kind of behavior, that behavior will be replicated en masse and basically exponentially grow among gaming developers and the industry. All right? So that's what happened is right now people are all like, we want GTA 6. Where is it? Well, they've only just begun. And that's because you kept playing GTA Online and putting so much money into it, they didn't care about this game. So now that they finally care, they're now trying to push development. But did you think it was going to come out overnight? No, they have to make this game now. So do I realistically think it'll come out in November? Well, let me put it this way. Can it go to November? Could it actually come out in November? Yes. But I feel like if it comes out in November, it will be massively rushed, crunched, and pushed out. It may still be good. I'm not saying that means that the game will be bad or anything. I'm just saying that's how it's going to come out in November. So if they really want it to be part of that fiscal year or whatever, right, they could push it out. I believe the fiscal year for Rockstar ends in March. So in reality, what they could do is actually have it go out as late as March. And they might do that. Maybe they'll delay it to January, February. This game, GTA 6, it doesn't matter when it releases. Whenever it releases, it will be a bestseller. It will be a humongous game. So they can actually release it whenever they want. It's not a big deal. They don't need holiday sales push or anything like that. It'll still be a massive, massive hit. But do I think it'll come out in November? I would like it to come out in November. But I don't know if it will. The thing is, we have no information to go off of because they're not giving any. Again, unlike the false reporting and nonsense going on in games media, we don't actually have any information at all. We have zero concrete information about this game because they're not giving any. So no one can really speak to this topic. No one knows anything, right? I got another $2 tip. How will you react the day Half-Life 3 is released? I won't, because Half-Life 3 is never coming out. They're not making that. Valve, I really do feel Valve is pretty much done as a game developer. Maybe I'm wrong and they'll shock the world, but what incentive does Valve ever have to make more games? Think about it. Really, think about it. If they're making so much money hand over fist with Steam, if they've now delved into the hardware department and they're looking to maybe become someone who develops controllers and the Steam machine, why would they care to make games? They're already so far removed from making games, right? I mean, what was their last game? Wasn't it Half-Life Alyx? And outside of that, it's been Portal 2? What was the last game they made? I don't even know. So I don't know why they would even have incentive to go back and make games at this point when they're already making so much money. And again, it's like I said, in the gaming industry, when behavior is rewarded, that behavior will be replicated. When Valve made Steam and all these games started getting listed on Steam and everyone bought their games on Steam and therefore they started making massive money, guess what? That's what they're going to work on. They're going to say, games were fine, but man, we're sure making a lot of money on Steam. Let's just focus on that. And that's what's going to happen. So I received a $2 tip. Someone says, I'm a Street Fighter 6 supporter, and I'm excited for tonight. I actually do IT for a living. I don't get why you have problems with Windows Update. Can you go into that in more detail? I'm not trolling. I just don't understand the issues. The thing is, I don't know how I could actually explain it because I'm not the cause of the problem when I do a Windows Update. So, for example, all right, here's what happened when I first got this whole setup, okay? So this was last December. So not December of last year, but the year before. So that would have been December 2024, okay? So I buy a new streaming and capture PC. Okay, shows up, I hook it all up, everything's good. I got all these webcams going. So I got this webcam over here that's doing face cam for me, or a wide shot. I got this shot here that's for podcasting. The cameras have AI. They move around. They follow me around the room. Really neat, right? Good technology. Everything's working good. I have their app that I can open, and I can actually maneuver the cameras around. I can change all the focus. Everything's good, okay? I do a Windows update. Update comes back. This camera over here will not turn on. It turns on, error turns off. The hell? So come to find out, the Windows update bricked this camera. Okay? Whatever Windows changed, whatever Microsoft did, it bricked this camera. So I had to roll back the update, and for like 2 months, I was running on the older version of Windows. Eventually, this camera, I guess, either patched or whatever, and it started working again. But ever since then, I have ongoing issues that when I do a Windows update, something doesn't work. And I have to either figure out a fix for it or just, accept the fact that it's not going to work. Like, again, I did a Windows update. This camera wasn't working. I had to do a firmware update. I had to do a software update. It started working again, but it keeps prompting me, telling me that it's outdated and I need to update it again. But I just updated it. So it doesn't need an update. It's just screwed up. So I'm just ignoring the update prompt and saying, I'm just going to use the camera. Okay? Again, this has nothing to do with me. This is the technology itself. This is Windows. This is the company that makes the camera. They're the ones that don't have their stuff jive. And then I'm the end user who has to deal with all this crap. All I want to do is have the camera work. That's it. And the thing is, I'm not even looking for the new features. Like, when I updated this camera, they're like, all new features added. I don't even know what they are. I don't really care. I mean, maybe they're neat. I don't know. But I don't really care about them. I just want this camera to work. That's it. That's all I'm interested in. Just so I could do my podcast. And in fact, I think it looks pretty good today, right? Maybe the visual quality was improved with the update I did. I don't know. Looks pretty crisp to me. But that's all I care about. I'm not here to go crazy and, I'm only using it at 1080p. I could do 4K, but the 4K only lets you do 30 frames. So I said, I'll do 1080p then. But there you go. I don't know. I don't know what's causing the problems because I don't do it. I received a 420 tip from the Felted Troll. All right, hold on. Thank you so much for the tip. Is that our big tip? No, we had a $5 tip. You should have unique animations for a 6-7 tip for the 6-7 meme. Like a $67 tip? I don't think I'm going to get many $67 tips just because I have a meme of it. That's kind of a... Like, the 420 tip animation or the 666 tip animations that I have, those are relatively smaller amounts. Way more of a chance that I would get tips of that denomination for the special animation rather than a giant $67 contribution. And even then, when you think about it, I don't really get those contributions that often either. You know what I'm saying? Like, I really don't. It's very rare that I even get those. Like a 666, I almost never get a 666 tip. It's like such a crazy rarity that would happen. So, well, now I'm being told, what about 670? What exactly is the meme? Is there a funny clip or something that is with that meme? Does anyone know? Is there like an actual video clip of someone saying it in a certain way or whatever that's funny? That maybe I could make one. Maybe I could use it, but I would need to find the clip. Doesn't it just mean that basically something is like mid or not that interesting? Isn't that what the meme means? Nicholas says the meme is that it means nothing. I thought the meme is basically just that it's kind of mid, it's not a big deal. I thought that's what the meme was. It's in a rap song and it means nothing. It's a LaMelo Ball reference. Who the fuck is LaMelo Ball? Who is LaMelo Ball? What? Am I supposed to know who that is? No, I don't care. You know what? Don't answer the question. I'd rather never know who LaMelo Ball is. I don't need to waste a brain cell absorbing that information. Really. I'd rather not know and never have to learn the information. There we go. He's one of the Ball brothers. Well, thanks. Very descriptive. He's one of the Ball brothers. Okay. Kids say it and it annoys the hell out of adults. It does? Oh, okay. It's a brain rot meme. Anyone who says 6'7" is a 12 years old or younger. Oh. A pro basketball player? Is he really? I don't know anything about this. I don't know anything about this at all. Wow. Man. All right. This is all brain rot crap, right? Like, I know nothing of it. I don't care. It really is like brain rot crap. Wow, this music is like too relaxing. This music is way too relaxing. I want to put it back on something else. Let's try this. Yeah, man. Now we go back to the 420 tip, man. Yeah, man. Cultural appropriation, man. Here we go, man. Very nice. I should have played this when the 420 tip came in. In fact, you know what? Just for fun, I'm going to play the 420 animation. There we go. Very nice. Okay. Jesse and the Juggernaut just did a $5 super chat and says, "Long live the king. Howdy, DSP." How you doing, Jesse? Welcome to the stream. Thank you for the contribution. I appreciate that. Okay. All right, folks. So last chance. Is there anything you guys would like to chat about? Tag me in the chat, and then we're going to wrap this up. I'm going to go on my break. We're going to come back. We're going to try this code Violet and see if it's any good, because I have no clue if this game is good or not. I've never been to Jamaica. No, I have not. Will Minecraft ever return? Maybe. I'm not going to say no, but at the same time, I mean, we just returned to it. It lasted a couple of months and we got bored of it. So I don't know, realistically, you know, if we were to bring it back, how long it would really last. I feel like we've done so much in Minecraft, including now mods and stuff, that I just don't know what else we would do with it, you know? Nope, I don't know anything about a game called Dusk Fade. Never heard of it. Have I thought about doing viewer-voted special runs in Arc Raiders? Like, for example, grenades only or no heals? No, but I could, as long as it's not... I could do it as long as it's not a risk. And what I mean by that is I could do a custom loadout, but an easy one to replicate, right? And then... And basically so I don't lose anything important. But I've never thought about that. If ever we wanted to do that... Maybe we could do something like that. A night where, I don't know. You guys think about how you would want to do it. Like, how would we choose what we're doing? I don't know. How would we decide what the factor is of how I would do a run? I'm okay with doing it as long as I don't lose massive progress and stuff that I need. You know what I mean? Okay. Someone tipped me $2 and said something disgusting. Thanks for the $2. Machete says there's lots of stuff we could still do in Minecraft, like build a giant Jasper kitty. We already built a giant cat statue years ago in my old run. That's already been there, done that. That's what I mean. Like, in the original run from years ago, we did a ridiculous amount of stuff. We had multiple places I lived. We had multiple giant houses. We had other people living there. We had the villagers who we all had doing different jobs, right? We had teleportation through the nether, going across the world. We had giant statues. We had huge structures. Like, we had a giant structure that was like a big waterfall thing. I forgot what it was even for. Like, we had everything. We literally had everything. We did it all. So, that's what I mean. Like, I don't see the point of, like, if we keep periodically going back. The whole gimmick of the run that we just did last year was mods. We did all these mods in Minecraft and made it look completely different, which was very fun to make the game look realistic and everything with the graphics. But at one point, like, dude, okay, I've seen a lot of this game. I think it's time to move on, right? Like, what else are we supposed to do in it realistically? Stuart says, would I do a stream of High Guard to see how bad it is? I don't know what High Guard is. Never heard of it. We are going to use... the intention tonight, Dab Hands, is to use the characters that I've liked or enjoyed the most in Street Fighter 6, which to me would be Lily, Honda, Dalzim, and Blanca. Now, I know I've played with other characters, right? I've definitely used Zangief. I've definitely used Bison. I had my Shiranui at Master in record time, but I'm just not too interested in going back to that. I just want to kind of play those characters that I played with the most and liked the most. So that's what we're going to do tonight. I don't even know if we're going to get to all of those, because in 2 hours, how much realistically can you play? Would I be willing to do a retro stream of Half-Life or Portal? Yes. They have free fan-made DLCs and content. Yeah, I would do those, for sure. Roden says, definitely look up Hytale off stream then for next week, because it has that Minecraft vibe for sure. Okay. Any chance of getting a new driving game? Yeah, if there is one. Like, we're looking into that, right? Like, obviously, we want information on Forza Horizon 6. I think that's right around the corner. Obviously, I would like another, like that, what's that, Road Kings that we saw the trailer for last year. I would be interested in whatever the heck that ends up being. Yeah. The only thing I don't want to do, because people keep suggesting it, I don't think I want to do Euro Truck Sim, because it's basically American Truck Sim in Europe. Like, I don't want to do the same game again. We already did it. I'd rather do something different. High Guard was a game at the Game Awards by the Titanfall devs. Oh, I've never even heard of it. Oh, wait, the game that everyone says is going to flop? Oh, yeah. That's right. That's the game you're talking about. The game everyone is claiming is going to be horrible and flop miserably. Thanks for another $2 tip. I'm literally not reading out any of the tips because they're just nonsense, but hey, you're contributing, so thanks for $2. Great. Wait, that should have been 63. What about the Yakuza game? If you're talking about Yakuza Kiwami 3, probably not. I don't think so. If we're already having so many problems with RPGs, I don't think that Kiwami 3 is going to do well. Maybe I'm wrong. We'll see what happens when it comes out, but I just don't think it's going to work. I feel like I'll buy it, I'll play it twice, and people will be so bored with it. But I don't know. Can I play Metaphor again? Unlikely. Again, if people wouldn't even continue to show up for my second attempt to play Expedition 33, which was voted Game of the Year, I don't see how people are going to come for Metaphor. And that's sad, because I loved the Metaphor, like I said, when I played the beta or whatever. I think it was the demo. I absolutely loved it, but I got to play what people will be here for, and I don't think they're going to be here for Metaphor. We tried it. It didn't work. Did I like the Turok series? I had Turok for N64, and it was very difficult, but I liked it. But that was about it. That's the extent of my Turok gameplay. So, same thing. See, Donkey Dork, what a name, says, what about Dragon Quest VII Remake? It's the same answer. I would be all for playing the Dragon Quest VII Remake. I love Dragon Quest, and I think the graphics of this remake look great and make it feel modern. I don't know if I would get an audience for it. I would like to play it. Yes, I love, again, I keep telling you guys this, I love RPGs. I grew up playing them. They're a part of me as a core, my core as a gamer. I would love to play more. But whenever I play RPGs, people tap out within a couple streams, and then we end up with low attendance, low engagement, low support, and everyone yelling at me to play other stuff. That's why they're rare. Right now, Claire Obscure is the stream that is doing the poorest right now of all my streams, and it's like, why? All right, folks, it's been a long show. We covered a lot of topics. Obviously, I'd like your feedback on all of them. Thank you for hanging out and listening. It's time to end it, but we're going to do another show on Sunday morning. Don't worry. There will be another Level 1 podcast soon. But for the Level 1 podcast, I just want to say thank you guys so very much for watching. I know it was an impromptu show today. I'd love to get your feedback on everything we talked about. Hopefully next week will be a great week of variety and fun, because we will be doing, different kinds of games and tossing them into the schedule as appropriate. And I think that's going to be good. Thank you guys so much. I certainly hope you're going to stick around today to check out Code Vein and, of course, the return of Street Fighter 6 for Friday Night Fights. Thank you guys for hanging out this early. You guys are awesome. And I will see you soon for more of the Level 1 podcast. Peace out, everybody. See you Sunday.